Why can I not see any? Damn it. I'm not seeing not seeing my video.
Okay, well, it's relaying. Let's go closer to the house.
No.
Rather than...
Got two people
You're
watching.
live.
Okay. Here I am, George Howard, Mr. Robert Fritzenreiter, who owns the Perkins farm out here in rural Louisiana. And this is where the cosmic plume touched down 12,800 years ago. Superheated plume of material turned to heat that touched down back here and left a non-typical crater in his backyard, which is evidenced by melt rocks and other material that was heated to 7,000 degrees instantly. 7,000 degrees. Robert, tell us, what's your backyard look like when something touches down from space?
Well, I know what it left. It left a big hole in the ground, a big series of craters on top, one on top of the other, like a shotgun blast.
Yeah.
The rim goes all the way around it, but it's a lot of overlapping rims, and it's usually too muddy to get inside because and nothing other than grass ever grew in it until trees were planted. A trench was dug across it with a raised walkway, and trees grew on that. But other than that, only grass, swamp grass, would grow in it. But on the outside, big longleaf pine grew and kind of held the ground stable.
Robert, when did your family first start speculating that this had something to do with something from space?
My dad thought it did, and he was born in 1926, and so somewhere around 1930, late 30s maybe. He was just a kid. He said he wasn't even a teenager, and back then, I guess the Behringer crater was being discovered, and he probably read about that, always reading. And he stood there and looked. There's Walter. And he stood there and looked and said, "That's from outer space. That's not a gas blowout." Since the 1800s, they thought it was some sort of gas pocket that blew out. But my dad was the first one that identified it as incoming.
And
he raised us calling it the crater.
That is crazy. Okay, that's decades of that. When did the modern story begin?
19 years ago, when I started trying to figure out, digging into it and seeing, well, maybe I could see something in there. And I dug into it and started finding concretions and chert and a few points from artifacts. And I sent some off, and most people said, no, it's not. And then eventually, Professor Cord Ernston said, let's look at that. That looks like it may be something. And he kind of kept me going. And he eventually told me, you need to get with the Comet group. And they took it from there and finally wrote a report on it. But we found all sorts of things like melt glass and iridium. They, I don't have that equipment, but they did, and scanning electron microscopes. They know what it is. I just own it.
Let's see.
Walter, my cousin Walter, owns the other half.
Let's see if we confirm. We got 28 people out there watching supposedly, but somebody said the stream isn't working on this end, and I'm not seeing any chat. But I hadn't done live in a while, so I'm not very skilled at it. And could somebody please indicate in the chat that you are seeing the feed and hearing us? We got 11 thumbs up. I don't think anybody give you a thumbs up if they couldn't hear you or see you. Learn more. Hold on. Ice and milk. Okay, now what is that? It's working now. Yeah. Thanks, Rusty Spud 13. You gotta like Rusty Spud 13. Always
yeah.
there when you need. He's always there.
Hey,
when you need.
Rusty.
Rusty Spud 13.
Rusty Spud.
And there's G Jensen 1000. All good. Well, of course, you know, it's not any sketchier internet even than in town. Doesn't matter where you are, there's always sketchy internet.
Well,
and to
there's
sit outside and to
probably
be
a lot of interference coming from the crater.
there is probably a lot of interference
It is
coming
dish
from
shaped.
it's still kind of throbbing with electromagnetic waves over there.
My story.
Yeah.
We always called it the crater, but it was just a name, the crater.
Yeah.
You never really thought about it as being maybe a meteorite that hit in there. We just called it the crater and went on about it.
Yeah.
But I told Robert, I don't think you knew this, but like way before I got married, I would tell people that of the female species, we had a crater out in the back and 5 acres. They ought to come out and take a look at it.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. And they'd come on out there and we'd ride around the crater. Anyhow, that's where I'll leave the story at that.
Okay. Were there any electromagnetic waves in chemistry?
At times, many times there was a repulsive
Oh, repulsive effect.
effect.
That's right, right.
So, anyhow,
But sometimes there was cosmic geochemistry.
there was no chemistry.
There was no chemistry. Well, that's true in science. I mean, you can't win.
When my dad was courting my mom,
Yeah.
Before they were married, they would walk around the crater. They would come out here and visit.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's nice.
she
But
said
your
it
dad
has
was an
changed.
honorable man.
She said it has changed a lot since they were out there. But yeah,
Keep talking.
I mean that was a romantic place to go.
That's awesome, man.
That was before the internet.
Yeah, well,
Okay, so then we talked a little bit. I guess I hope we were online, but then you got in touch with Cord Ernst,
yeah.
who's also
Ernston.
got Ernston, who I've seen, you know, on the net for years, maybe corresponded, but he's also got a set of craters in Germany that are controversial, right?
Yeah, all
Okay.
craters are controversial.
Well, I like that.
Most all of them.
They certainly all started out controversial because science rejected to the last possible moment that anything could come from space.
Yeah.
I forget which founding father said, I find it more likely that, you know, oh, God,
But you can't
then
change.
rocks would fall from space.
You can't change the truth though. So that.
No, you can't. Nature will explain
Yeah.
it to us. But what I find interesting about here, when I won't over talk it, is that there were 4,000 to 6,000 of these airburst events in a very bad day 12,800 years ago. The Comet Research Group, which I'm a part of, has been saying that since the paper in 2007, that the majority of the damage done to the earth and the biota and the animals and whatnot was done by airbursts, which are essentially, think of it like a nuclear bomb minus the radiation. So it's not quite as horrific, and you can't tell where it happened. Because if these were nuclear bombs, you could still go detect. You could draw a map and it'd be easy. But the nuclear bombs, if they blow up in the air and aren't meant to make a crater,
There's my wife.
yes,
It's there.
There's Sarah.
Say hello to the world. Live.
live, or at least 27 of them, 27 of the world. But people will watch it later too.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. We're gonna have lunch here in a minute. Okay, so this happened 4,000 to 6,000 times. It's a subtle mark, just like Tunguska out there. If you don't know it happened, you don't know it happened.
Unless you were there.
Yeah, it makes sense that you would discover like Meteor Crater and all these giant craters out there, the obvious first, right? This is very subtle. Okay, but somebody had to find the first one. Everything had to come together with the proper forensic team, the locals who had the eyeballs on it for years and knew something was up because they're experts in their own property and they can tell something's different than the rest of the community. You had to have a lot of things come together to find the first one. And that's where we are. It's back in those.
This is the first plume.
This is the first plume touchdown spot.
Plume touchdown.
And what would be cool is to start finding the other ones. And I think there should, over the decades, all this stuff drags out and out and out, but there should be some kind of hunt underway to find the rest, a well-funded hunt. And it's going to involve a lot of noise and static because a lot of people are going to have weird rocks in their backyard that don't test out. So you're going to have some real protocols to shave off the, separate the chaff from the wheat.
Mm-hmm.
And not that the chaff is bad, but people out there having fun with their rocks too, but not all of them are going to be caused by a plume from space.
I
But
found
4,000
that
to 6,000 of them are.
a good way to find potential craters, especially small craters,
Mhm.
down south, close to the Gulf,
Mhm.
like we are within 100 miles or so. Look for pimple mounds, look for Mima mounds, and
Mhm.
put a little spot on each one, and then back up and go to the center.
Mhm.
I found two potential craters, small ones, uh, just doing that.
Yeah. But
One is in Galveston, Texas,
yeah.
and I found
But there's so
Mima
many
mounds on
weird
the
little
shore.
lakes out there naturally. What are you
Yeah,
seeing? Well, you're doing it with the pimple mounds.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
But each of these
yeah.
two small craters had a central uplift. They were perfectly round, had a
Yeah.
rim and a central uplift. One, I started looking for it because I read about it hitting somewhere in South Lake Charles
Mm-hmm.
back in the 50s.
Oh, really?
And they had witnesses, and back then it was just a swamp. And they said they felt like it probably hit somewhere there. I said, well, maybe I
Well,
can
I don't think
find.
it would have created those pimple mounds there.
There were some pimple mounds,
Really?
and
Mhm.
I went and that's how I found it. I looked around for pimple mounds. I backed off and I went to the center of them and zoomed in, and sure enough, I went out there and looked at it. I think it's a crawfish pond now, but I text or emailed him and said, "Don't mess it up. That
Mhm.
might be." He said, "We thought it was a gas blowout,
Mhm.
but so it was something very different right
Well, let's
there."
describe pimple mounds a little bit for people, if they're new to them, and surely most are, is that if you ever heard of the Carolina Bays, if you hadn't heard of both, you got to jump in on both because they're kind of companion geological oddities that are found in North America. And I think they kind of share the title for the two most interesting and unexplained regional curiosities in Carolina Bays, these low depressions in the ground found from New Jersey to about right here. Concentrated in the Carolinas, and they're real subtle when seen from the ground, and a lot of people around them don't even pay any attention to them. But if you look from the air, there's something going on, and pimple mounds are kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They're just,
Let Walter take
and
my
they
place.
don't know how they.
I'll be right back.
Okay, come on in, Walter. Yeah, you just got a battlefield promotion. I think they call
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I just think,
Okay. This is cousin Walter Eubanks from next door.
hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah, you can tell the sharp eye may be able to discern that Robert went to the Louisiana State University.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Walter.
Oh, I was thinking, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got the LSU cap on. You kind of got the purple glasses, is what was saying.
Oh, I got
I
you.
was thinking you had a shirt on, but you don't.
Yeah, I was debating if I wanted to wear the cap or not after this weekend with A&M, but
Yeah.
I decided I'd go ahead and be loyal.
That's right. And that's what brought the Cosmic Tusk down here, was to see my son, who's going to LSU, just as my daughter did. And I went to see a football game, and we lost with
Yeah.
110,000 people.
And
Yeah.
you're saying
On the second
you
row.
saw a football game? Because
Yeah.
I watched the same event, and I did not see a game.
I'm no expert, but let's see if this follows the laws of nature. See if you
Okay.
can see it.
Yeah.
You've got just sand.
Yeah.
Now you've got
It's
pimple
looking
mounds.
pimply.
Look at the pimple
Look at that.
mounds.
That's exactly what they look like.
That is exactly what the pimple mounds look like. All different sizes
Yeah.
and all close together.
That's excellent.
And that's
What
to
a
me.
great demonstration. Thanks, man.
To me, that's how.
What'd you think of that, folks? Were people able to see that? Okay, you can look up the Perkins Plume Crater, such that it is, behind me on the Journal of the Comet Research Group, which is called Airbursts and Cratering Impacts. If you just search airbursts and cratering impacts, I think it's the most recent paper. We're setting up more camp chairs. Well, we're getting into it, and we got 56 viewers. Oh my gosh, this thing is taking off. Now think, if you went down to the local community center and 56 people showed up to hear you run your mouth, you kind of had a worthwhile day. I mean, in a way,
Yeah.
56 people to Yeah. Well, it's down to 48 now.
Well, Sarah says it's time to eat, but
Okay.
we,
Well,
we
no,
can
no, no, no,
hold
no,
off.
no,
We
no,
can
no.
hold off.
This is too important now. We got 56 people in
Yeah,
here.
we saving the world here.
That's right. So, hey, Colorado checking in. Swizzigar, Viking Lloyd in the house. Addis Day. Sea of Cronus 675. Hello. Viking Lord said science is now showing multiple types of humanoids: bird, lizard, and ape.
And my cousin and
Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
which one's
yeah,
a bird?
bird,
And which one's a lizard?
lizard, and ape.
But I don't guess they want to hear my alternative theory to what caused that.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, now go undermine the narrative. Okay.
Okay.
You try to keep a narrative. Try to keep
No.
everybody singing from the same hymn book.
Okay.
So, okay.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
a meteorite impact could also be a UFO crash site.
No.
I don't think anyone was there to identify it, so it was a UFO.
Well, it was a UFO. That's about as much as we can say. But I've enjoyed cutting up about it and joking and kidding around. And then it does make you wonder what's out there. But to see everything Robert has described could have been something like that. Most likely wasn't, but there might be a 1% chance. So it's fun to just play with that idea over a campfire, you know.
And certainly the way it kind of skittered in looks like it
Yeah.
skidded underground to a stop. And if you dug under that hole across the road, you'd
Yeah.
probably find a tic tac
Maybe.
or maybe a damn plate, couple of plates, you know, or whatever, you know, your typical.
Yeah, I'm saying it's just fun to imagine what it could have been, and that was just one small possibility.
Well, that's how science works.
Viking Lloyd says, repeat after me, I am not a monkey.
You are not a monkey.
He is not a monkey. Now, let's speak of like monkey stuff. One of the things I think is important to point out about this thing, people hear 12,800 years ago, and a lot of people's minds go blank. Man, that's just 3 times as long ago as the pyramids. 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is not man walked the earth. Somebody saw what happened in your backyard one way or another, right? There were mammoths, mastodons, wild beasts of all sorts. There were saber-toothed tigers, for God's sakes. There
Camels.
were armadillos the size of damn golf carts.
There were camels here.
Yeah, beavers the size of Suburbans.
Not to mention when it was in the ocean.
And all those animals. And then there were the Clovis people at the very minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And they all saw that day together. And it was a bad day because 7,000 degrees is very, very, very hot.
And in more than one spot.
And
Yeah,
Robert,
yeah,
tell
all
me,
of a sudden with
What-
the
what do you-
earthquakes.
excuse me, what do you
Yeah.
call that indigenous group of people? Choctaw?
Atakapaw,
Atakapaw.
Yeah,
Tell them about how they were, some of the things they were doing back there.
well, they would, I read where they would eat certain human organs of their enemies
Mm-hmm.
because
the
they didn't
heart?
like to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know,
They
they
just
would,
like to eat.
no one wanted to fight them. I ain't getting, I ain't messing with that until the Spanish came. And the Spanish had guns and they were appalled by that. And so they said, we ain't going to do that no more. So,
Mm-hmm.
but they lived right here.
Didn't you find a few artifacts?
I
or
found some spear points and some pottery sherds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just think that, and that would have been, what do you think, how many years ago?
They dated
4,000?
7,000 years ago.
7,000.
Yeah, archaic Indians.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if they can date it any further than that, further back than that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And then, even more recently, if you're interested, this used to be called the Badlands down in through here. There was no, what do you call it? No police. Like in the 1700s and
There was
1800s.
no law.
Oh yeah, it was just
No law.
Texas was not part of the U.S. There was a boundary.
That's why
Wasn't
4,000 French
Texas-
Canadians came down here.
Right,
You
there was
get away from
The
things.
boundary between Texas and the U.S. was very wide, and Jesse James kind of hung out here. And,
Mm-hmm.
Many of the outlaws.
It was wild. Yeah.
The
Now,
Wild
there-
Wild West.
Right as they were moving into it, and maybe had some bucks in New Orleans and just said, okay, go out there and hey, was this hmm, what do you call it? 168 acres?
160.
Yeah, was this a
Yeah, it was.
claim?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
My great
Section. I
like a,
think of it as Oklahoma.
it was a T shape. They would make
Was
a
it
T
100
this
and
way,
yeah?
and I think originally 160 acres is what
Okay.
they were, something like that. But
Okay, but they were given land, said you'd have that, or
if you improved it,
if you improved it, yeah.
and
I believe it was 1,000 acres at one time, or something much
uh,
larger than this.
well, it was our great grandfather,
Right.
John Addison Perkins, that homesteaded, and the live oak trees that he planted are still there.
That's how it came to be known Perkins, is because of the family name in there. But at one time, it was thousands of acres, and when our generation came, there was his daddy, my mama, and then they had two cousins, and they got two, so it's a total of four, each about 40 acres, more or less.
Well, y'all are still improving it. Y'all are still moving around dirt out there.
I just planted 4,800 longleaf pine trees, and next
hand.
year
That's a lot of work.
my feet hurt.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. But I plan to plant some more once those start growing and see. I didn't plant them in rows. I planted them not to harvest, but
Okay,
for future generations.
let's get back. We got to eat, but you find cosmic material back there. You started digging back there 20 years ago, stuff, and you find what kind of rocks? Because we were going to show some in your shop, and that'll be on other content that we are getting at this thing, but we didn't have the signal over there.
A lot of it is microscopic.
Right.
And I sent it off, and they found like one grain was 51% iridium, and that doesn't happen. I mean, when they were the dinosaur killer, they got excited with, I think, 14 parts per billion iridium. But iridium was part of the impactor. Only other place you find
There's also hugely elevated platinum.
Yeah.
Above.
And there's a lot of big words that I don't understand that they found.
Oh, yeah. Anybody can see the big words if you like.
Yeah,
And do not hesitate to read scientific papers and expect to understand them. You just pick up what you can. And the more you do, the more you get used to ignoring what you don't know about. And some of those you'll get curious about and learn, Don't hesitate. And you can find that paper at Air Bursts and Cratering Impacts.
Now, Robert told me
the
that
Perkins Plume.
Those numbers are normal for meteorites in outer space, but not normal naturally here on Earth.
Right. Yeah. They're like, there ain't much spice down here, and so sometimes it blows in from the Spice Islands. There's plenty of that stuff out there,
And we like to keep our ignorance level pretty high.
Right.
And just in case we get something wrong, well, I know I'm no expert.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right. There's a lot of intellectual freedom sitting here. I don't think there's any constraints or concerns about reputation or grants.
But yeah, don't take everything I say. I go by what I see.
Yeah.
I see things mechanically.
Well, Eubanks is clearly the speculative one.
Oh,
he's over there talking UFOs and stuff. They let him teach children.
Yeah, well, for a while, I think.
What's that now?
They let you teach children?
You're the intellectual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But there was things we weren't allowed to go into, and I kept my mouth quiet.
Okay, you didn't talk aliens and stuff.
No.
Yeah. That was the 20th century. You just had to
right. Things have changed.
They have changed.
Yeah.
They have changed.
They sure have.
In fact, there's interest on the part of the Senate side of the Congress and perhaps holding a hearing on our subjects, and that's about all I can or will say.
Our subjects?
The catastrophe, and were there people before, are we missing some technologies, all the fun stuff. Yeah. And I think they would be bipartisan, kind of like UFO hearings, because everybody's interested in this stuff.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's not terribly partisan, unless you're kind of a woke leftist that's just attached to academic institutions and will defend somebody at the department to the...
I don't even know what that means. I don't watch the news.
Well, that's good, man. There's this whole thing. It's a virus called woke. It came after that cold. We had the cold. Well, it kind of hit at the same time. And it's just a mind virus
Okay.
of the mind. It's not a
Yeah.
respiratory thing.
Oh, it's an addiction. That addiction to adrenaline that you get with an argument.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I understand that.
and yeah, and hysterical righteousness,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that help?
particularly if you're godless, and then you
Well,
replace it with that anger.
yeah. It's
Does it
chasing dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
How does that improve the validity of your argument, the loudness of your yell?
Well, you get more views.
Oh, okay.
So if
No,
you get more views, then more
You
people
get more
will.
adrenaline.
I think it was
And that's what
Thomas
it's all about.
Jefferson said, the louder your argument does not make your argument more valid. And
He-
nowadays, people think if they just get very, very loud, their argument is more sound, but it isn't. It's just
That was in a low bandwidth environment,
very loud.
right? As
Yeah.
as bandwidth increased, the need to scratch your place out in the world by screaming.
Yeah.
I do a little of it if I can. I'll rant and rave. I'm
I'm
not
a-
in a ranting mood now, though, man. It's about 71 degrees out here.
Beautiful.
Quiet.
I'm attention deficit and very happy with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Okay. Well, Sarah's got us some food in there. We appreciate people tuning in. We had 62 or more people, which is kind of cool. And then hundreds, if not a few thousand, will watch it later. So we're going to try to do, obviously, the Cosmic Tusk. And the Cosmic Tusk podcast is going to do more field trips like this. I had Robert on. You can go back and see the episode with him that we put up a month ago where we did the old recording over Zoom stuff. And and I said, I'm going to follow up with a field trip.
And
Right. And I'm just
doing
glad you
field.
don't live in, like, Guatemala or Borneo
Me too.
or Patagonia. Because it could have been all those places. Right. But
No, not really.
It's north of Lake Charles. Yeah. And I'm going to fly out of Houston this evening.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Stayed in Baton Rouge, kind of Gulf Coast. Very convenient. Okay. So over and out from Cosmic Tusk Field Trip. We'll put up a whole bunch of content on this thing. We got a bunch recorded, and we're going to stay in touch with Robert Fritzenreiter and Walter Eubanks. Okay. Over and out.
Oh, that was cool.